Alright, so I found the new Series 25 minifigures in a grocery store early, so I'm going to do a quick little video reviewing and upgrading the 3 new medieval minifigures that I picked up. Let's get right into it. Starting with the Goat Shepherd. Now, we all know that the reason this guy is going to be popular is because of the goat, but I want to talk about how good this fig is for parts. The dual molded olive green and brown legs look great and work really well for making custom medieval peasants or even as the legs for some Vikings. His torso is also perfect for making custom villagers with the basic medieval hood print on his torso. His left arm has a patchwork print, which is a really nice inclusion that you could swap onto some forestmen to give them a little bit more texture. As for the head, I wasn't sure if I would like it, but I have to say it's grown on me a lot after seeing it in person. The alternate backprint on the head would work great for a sleeping castle guard that you could work into a castle mock or scene. Now, the accessories that come with this guy are just great. You get 2 brown bars with each box that you could use for a million different things, like an axe or for a goat pen with some added in droid arms and a few other bars of different sizes. Obviously, the fact that we get a brown hood with him is also really nice as well. This CMF is just a perfect medieval peasant parts pack, and I couldn't recommend it more. Really great figure. Moving on to my absolute favorite fig of the whole series, the new Basil the Batlord. The prints on him are so well done. It's a near 1-to-1 remake of the original figure, but modernized in a lot of ways. I will say I prefer the shield from the Series 19 Fright Night, but this one is definitely more faithful. The cape that is included is a lot heavier and thicker than I was expecting. It's hard to show what I mean, but when and if you get this figure, you'll know what I mean. Speaking of, the print work on the cape is super sharp and matches the shield's print, which I thought was really smart. It's also double-sided, so the inside is red and the outside is printed on gray, which makes for a really great aesthetic for Basil. Now let's talk about the helmet. I absolutely love it. I saw some other people saying that they weren't happy with it, but man, I just flat out disagree on every level. This new one is still faithful to the old one, but is sculpted in a way more sleek way. My only complaint about it is that I wish it was in pearl dark gray, but that would be less accurate, so I understand why they didn't do that. Now for the more controversial aspects of this remake, his head and weapon. So with this CMF, LEGO has turned Basil into a full-on vampire. This is something that people have debated about in the past, but now with the official name being the Vampire Knight and his very obvious fangs and paleness, this version of Basil is most definitely a vampire. I myself don't mind this change, but I understand why people are against it. The thing I don't like is his axe. I am just not a fan of the trans red axe pieces used here, so I made the same axe with pearl dark gray ones, and I think it looks a lot better. And if you aren't a fan of the new head, I'd recommend this face print. It maintains Basil's kind of demented personality, but keeps him human. So with the pearl dark gray axe and his yellow head, I think this is the perfect version of Basil for me. It's just a few subtle changes, but I really like how this one turned out. Overall, there's not really anything to complain about. This figure is basically perfect. I cannot believe how well they did this fig. And now for our last medieval minifigure, the new Fierce Barbarian. This may just be a hot take, but I think this fig has the best new prints out of all the figures in the series. The body and legs are super well done, and the symbol on the torso actually harkens back to an older male barbarian CMF from years ago. The leg print on this fig is beautiful to me, and I love the details that they got on it without making it look too messy. The same goes for the torso. It's really well detailed with some basic stitch work on the front and back, and the copper print on the belt piece and studs adds in just a little pop of color that was needed. But the 2 standouts for me in this fig are the printed gauntlets or braces on the arms that look great and have given me a ton of ideas for future customs. And the new hairpiece, which has a circlet or band going around it, along with a very simple braid going down the back. This hair mold is just perfect for any Viking Jarls or kings that you want to make. I really hope LEGO reuses this piece in some different colors. A dark tan one and a dark orange one would be ideal in my opinion, with maybe some gold or silver circlets around the hair. Just a great new hair mold, and I'm really happy that they made this. Finally, let's talk about this sword recolor. This sword, of course, first came out in Dreams pretty recently and is now in a much more natural gray and pearl dark gray color scheme, which I think actually looks pretty fantastic. I wasn't sure I'd like this mold, but in person it looks really good. It is a bit large and dorky looking, but it's nice to have more variation when it comes to medieval weapons, so I'm all for it. Finally, my last thought on this fig is that the torso isn't that gendered, so you could totally make some male customs to go along with the barbarian woman. You could even flip the torso around, and I think it still works. Overall, a fantastic addition to any LEGO Castle fans collection. I am so happy to have found these figs early, and I'm blown away in the quality of prints and the graphic design work done. Now, of course, these are in blind boxes, which is a shame. I did take a scale into the store to find the ones that I wanted, and it worked out fine for getting Basil and the Goat Shepherd, because they are the only 2 in the 19 to 20 grams range, but still, this method is not ideal at all. Hopefully LEGO switches to a paper bag in the future so that we can still do the feel test, but I wouldn't get my hopes up for that. Let me know what you think about these figs in the comments below, and whether or not you're going to pick them up when they release on January 1st. Thank you for watching.